Elsie Hewitt just posted a TikTok that has the entire internet looking at Pete Davidson sideways. She's not just calling him an ex, she's effectively labeling him a ghost. We are talking about allegations of a total disappearing act right after their daughter, Scotty Rose, hit the scene. 1 minute they're playing house, the next, she's online claiming she's doing the heavy lifting entirely solo. Now, the comments are a war zone. You've got one side claiming Elsie is just out for a payday, trying to secure the bag by dragging Pete's name through the mud. Then you've got the other side, the people who say if you leave a woman with a newborn, you owe her every cent in your bank account and then some. It's a disaster. It's ugly. And honestly, it's exactly what we need to talk about. Look, we know Pete's history. The man has survived things that would break most people. 9/11 took his father, he's been open about BPD, he's fought addiction, he even has Crohn's, which, if you know, you know. It's constant physical agony. And let's not forget surviving the Kim Kardashian era, where Kanye was literally animating his decapitation in music videos. The guy has been a walking target for years. I really thought he was turning a corner. He went to rehab, started lasering off the tattoos, and finally became a dad. I wanted to believe that having a kid would be the thing that finally grounded him. I wanted that happily ever after for him. But apparently, I was dead wrong. Because right now, the narrative isn't about healing, it's about neglect. Elsie is out here posting and deleting like it's her full-time job, dropping breadcrumbs that paint Pete as a complete deadbeat. She's publicizing her hunt for a mother's helper and a nanny, all while looking into the camera and whispering that she's doing it on her own.
I'm exhausted, okay? I should have left the house looking nicer yesterday. I should have known that that was gonna happen. But that's not what I'm thinking about right now because I have a baby to take care of. And I also have to work and make money. And I'm doing it on my own, which is hard. Noted. Next time I will try to look nicer when I get paparazzi on a walk with my daughter. Okay. But I don't know how to get rid of the eye bags because I fell asleep.
Doing it on your own when your baby daddy is a multi-millionaire? That's not just a struggle, that's a direct shot. She's stirring the pot and the steam is hitting Pete right in the face. Is he actually missing in action, or is Elsie just the best scriptwriter in Hollywood right now? We have to remember that Elsie isn't a household name. She doesn't have the massive PR machine or the cult following that Pete does, but she knows exactly how the game is played. You drop his name and the world stops to watch. And what she's saying, it's heavy. She's basically telling us she's exhausted, she's sleep deprived, and she's being hounded by paparazzi while trying to survive the newborn trenches. But the real kicker isn't her saying she's tired. Every new mom is tired. The kicker is her explicitly stating she has to work to make ends meet because she's doing it all alone. The internet, of course, is having a civil war over this. You've got the sympathetic crowd calling Pete out for loser behavior, saying abandoning a woman during postpartum is the lowest of the low. Then you've got the skeptics who think Pete is just at work. But let's be real, since when does having a job mean you provide zero support to the mother of your child? Someone in the comments flat out asked her if she's doing the financial part alone too, because that would be actually insane. And Elsie? She replied with a smiley face and then nuked the comment. That is a tactical strike, people. She's letting the implication hang there like a dark cloud. She's even liking comments about how men who leave during postpartum are insanely losers. But wait, because Pete's camp isn't staying silent. The sources close to Pete are finally waking up and they are singing a completely different tune. They're claiming Pete is actually the one bankrolling her entire lifestyle. We're talking rent, bills, the whole 9 yards for Elsie and baby Scotty Rose. So who is actually telling the truth? Is Pete a deadbeat who vanished? Or is Elsie trying to play the victim to secure a bigger check? It's officially a he said, she said mess, and the receipts are starting to look very contradictory. According to Team Davidson, Pete isn't just present, he's the bank. They're claiming he's covering the Brooklyn rent, the health insurance, the living expenses, literally everything. They're painting a picture of a guy who just wants his ex to be happy and his daughter to be stable. So when Elsie hops on TikTok to whisper about being a solo soldier, Pete is supposedly utterly confused. Let's be real, that sounds like it was copy-pasted straight from a PR crisis handbook. It's the classic I'm doing my best defense. They're saying he's rearranged his entire life, his entire schedule just to be there. But the math isn't adding up. If he's there physically and financially, why is she publicizing her search for a nanny? This entire relationship was a sprint that ended in a car crash. They met in March 2025, and by April, they were already expecting 1 month. That's not a foundation, that's a whirlwind. And the red flags? They were there on night 1. Elsie literally told him on their first date that he'd be the father of her children.
We went on our first date, we went out to dinner for the first time. I was like, okay, don't think that I'm crazy, but I just know you're gonna be the father of my children.
Yeah.
And he was like,
I know. That's
and
pretty.
Look at us now.
How about that?
1 month into dating and they're already picking out baby names? That is the textbook definition of reckless. Pete has this habit, this pathological need to dive headfirst into the deep end before checking if there's actually any water in the pool. An insider is calling him deeply unhappy, saying he's trying to find in women what he can't find in himself. Pete's team is still beating the same drum. He's paying for everything. He's so supportive. But let's cut through the corporate fluff. Paying the bills isn't parenting. You can't Venmo a childhood. If he's washing his hands of the relationship, he's effectively washing his hands of his daughter's daily life. The cracks were there while she was still pregnant, but by May, the whole thing shattered. Now, it's getting litigious. Pete wants to keep this quiet, shocker, but Elsie is clearly ready to scorch earth the situation. She's already building her case on TikTok, documenting every lonely moment for her followers. This isn't just a breakup anymore, it's a countdown to a courtroom. Pete is looking at a high-stakes custody war, and my sources are saying Elsie is more than ready to pull the pin on this grenade. However, things are getting much darker than just financial disputes. According to various blind items and rumors, Pete's behavior behind the scenes has been raising serious concerns. There have been reports of extreme mood swings and paranoid episodes where he allegedly accused random strangers of being paparazzi. Sources claim the tension with neighbors reached a point where legal restraining orders were being considered. Even more concerning are the claims regarding his recent stand-up material. Pete reportedly made a joke involving adult content in the presence of his infant daughter that left audiences incredibly uncomfortable and reached a level of dark humor that many found completely inappropriate for a new father. According to unverified reports, these types of public comments may have even triggered wellness checks or inquiries from protective services in early May. This chaos peaked in May, right before the official split. Now, just a month later, Pete is reportedly back in the family nest. He keeps retreating to his family for support, but let's be honest, that support sounds more like a psychological battlefield. Pete once admitted that when he was struggling with his mental health, his only goal was to get married and have a kid just to fill the void of his own childhood. Well, he got the kid, he got the girl, and he still couldn't keep it from imploding. I've always rooted for Pete. He's funny, he's talented, and he's been through hell. But being a fan doesn't mean giving him a pass for being a ghost in his child's life. Elsie is left holding the bag, and the baby, while Pete hides out with his family trying to find himself again. Is he a deadbeat? Or is he just a broken man who shouldn't have been a father yet? Either way, Scotty Rose is the one who's gonna grow up with the questions. What do you guys think? Is Pete's mental health a valid excuse for his absence? Or is he just failing the biggest test of his life? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to stay in the loop on this courtroom drama, because believe me, the lawsuits are coming. Catch you in the next one. Stay messy.